out. Yeah. So, Mike, I don't know if you've ever used Riverside FM, but it's a software that will live stream, kind of like StreamYard. But I'm testing it out because there's a lot of AI behind it. Have you ever heard of it?
I love it. No, I have not. I usually use StreamYard, so this is a cool new
Okay.
experience for me as well. I love it.
So the reason it would be different than StreamYard is afterwards it will automatically create for you like 8 or 10 shorts with captions. There's a whole bunch of AI. It'll do like a Facebook post of a summary of this and just all sorts of graphics. And so we're gonna see what happens after this. We'll show you what happens. So
Love it.
so I'm
Love
excited.
it.
So thanks everyone for joining us. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. And today I have Mike Nelson with me. So if you don't know me, my name is Jacqui Bowman. I'm a real estate coach. I've been in the business for 21 years and I work a lot with high volume solo real estate agents that are just top agents in their marketplace. And of course, we always think we can do everything better than anybody else. So we say we need leverage and we never get it. So, so that's me. So, a good coach is always coaching where they were at, not where they were at today, but where they've been in the past. And so that would be me and thinking that, I can do it better than anyone else. Didn't have, my schedule down or anything like that. So anyway, so I'm Jacqui Bowman, been in the business 21 years, real estate coach. I also coach with Glover U, and I'm at eXp Realty. I am in real estate production. My husband, Ryan Bowman, is also a real estate broker, and he's also a lender. He's been doing lending for a year, and he is rocking and rolling. So I'm super proud of him, if you all know him. And today I'm here with Mike. I'm going to have him tell you a little bit about himself, and then we'll get started.
Awesome. Thanks, Jackie. Yeah, so man, 15 years probably in real estate. Before that, like 19
Yeah.
years in the corporate world with a Fortune 500 company, and the 20 years in the Military Air National Guard. So, like my life has been full and been always super exciting, and a lot of experiences and things like that bring to the table. So, my most recent position is doing real estate comboed up with working with Sphere Rocket because of the years of services. Well, so when I was at, I should say the company name, but when I was on the Fortune 500 company, we were outsourcing moving work like 10 years ago. Like that has been
Right.
way back in the day when globalization was the thing. So I usually follow the trends of corporations because I think they're generally pretty on top of
Yeah.
upcoming strategies. So anyways, I partner with Sphere Rocket, right? And that's exactly what I'm doing with them is helping other people
Cool.
build lives by design, right? As opposed to just grinding every day.
Yeah. Yep. And it's always that freedom of working smarter, not harder,
Hmm.
and netting the most money for the amount of time that you're investing. So I
That's it.
love that. I love that. And I will say too that Sphere Rocket has helped me personally. I mean, it took a couple years. I'm not going to lie. Like, had my first VA, I bombed it. Had my second VA, I bombed it. Like just really trying to fix me to be compatible with having a VA work for me, my lifestyle, and my business, and actually have it click to where it's working. So it may not happen the first time around. However, hang with it because I mean, it does sometimes happen the first time around, right? But for someone like me, I'm not the best at the consistent schedule. I'm not the best at some of these things. And so I had to really teach myself those things. But the world of difference that it's made in my life has been just astronomically different. So I have two VAs right now that are full time, and then I have a third VA that's part time. She does transaction coordination for me and a couple more agents in my sales organization. She's amazing. The two guys that I have right now are absolutely crushing it. I have one guy, Aji. He is just phenomenal at social media. And then I also have my executive assistant who really oversees all of the vision that I have. If you're a driver and you're a visionary, it's like getting all of your goals out on paper is one thing, which if you would see the papers I collect, it's amazing. But with that, sharing those with your VA and then asking them, can you go into Asana and create a project for each one of these things? And let's continue to work on the next best steps each day. It's the execution of my vision that has changed my world because I can have a vision and it just sits because I never had the leverage, right?
Yeah, I
And
go
so
through a
that
lot of
is
I got
huge.
a course that I usually teach that's like, right, builders versus implementers, right? And it's kind of that
Yes.
finding that balance of I build, 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 but I never actually execute, execute,
Right,
execute.
right.
So very true. And to your point earlier about it took you a couple of years to dial it in, I know you're going to ask me a question at the end that's going to be what's changed in our business
Yeah,
model over the last 2 years.
sure.
That is one of those things that looks drastically different today than what it looked
Yes.
like 3, 4 years ago when
Well,
we
tell me a
started
little bit
working
about that.
together.
What piece of
Yeah.
that is different?
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, honestly, like what we've expanded, like back when you started, Jackie, it was kind of like, hey, here's one of our onboarding reps, and you get like an hour of their time, and good luck, right? Like, hope everything goes well for you, right? So we've
Right.
now expanded that out to each client gets their a U.S. based business coach, right, to help integrate and implement that VA into their system. Each VA, right, that you bring onto your partnership or that joins your business gets a coach from the Philippines as
Hmm.
well. So we've gone
Right.
from really just kind of one hour session to really you have a resource to you at any given time that you have a need or a desire or a question or an implementation, whether that's US business focus or it's a VA specific
Sure.
skill set growth opportunity. So that's just one of many things, but that's the one I wanted to touch on.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, and that's really helped me because when I hired my last two VAs, I went over with my coach what my um, first 30-day, 60-day, 90-day onboarding is going to look like, and creating all of that up front and doing that has been huge, right?
Mhm.
Because it forced me to do the actual extra work in the background to make sure that it worked out, right? So, and when things aren't working out, right away, that it's not working out. But yeah, so it's been amazing. And just the impact that they've had on my business, thus far, the past 6 to 8 months has been huge in my social media reach is like quadrupled. My views have quadrupled. Like it's just been amazing. And so yeah, I'm very relationship based. So it's like even though I had a lot of followers, I wasn't posting the right content. And now it's like he comes to me and he says, hey, we should be posting about this. We should be posting about this. I need these things from you. And I'm like, okay. And then 3 days later, he's like, I still need these things from you. I'm like, okay. And then I get them to him. But it's because that he asks for them that it gets done. And so that has just absolutely changed everything for me. So it's
Yeah, I
been
love that.
awesome.
And I have an executive admin, and literally her day every day is to do a startup day with me. And like, these are all the things that I'm working on for you, and this is what I need from you by the end of today. And then at the end of the
Right.
day, it's like, I didn't get these things from you, so I can't do what I need to do. So
That's
then I
right.
feel like a little piece of, you know what? And I'm like,
A
okay,
little
hold on,
sour
let me
horse
get
for the
those done
course,
for you.
right? Right. 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 Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And just, having them understand and know that like sometimes we know that we're the obstacle in them checking the box and getting it done. So, but
yep.
it's really for the entrepreneur and the builder, as you would say, you know, our personality type, it's like we need them to chase us and we need them
Mhm.
to keep us on task. And that's what has been just absolutely awesome. So, and a lot of my clients, going back to like, if you're watching this and you're thinking, I've heard of VAs, I'm considering a VA, I don't know where to start. It's really looking at, you know, what are your high dollar activities and what are your background activities that, we need to do to support that. And for years, I've had clients do this and I did this myself before I hired out. It's if I want to hire an executive assistant US based, it would cost me 35 to 50 or more a year to have a good one, right? And it's like taking that leap is there's this gap. It's so far from where you are to where you want to be that it just doesn't happen. And so I have found that VAs not only shorten that gap, but because they're more affordable, but it also, I actually like the flexibility of it, working with them through Slack and through Zoom and all of those things. It's like actually a convenience as well. And then also the impact of changing their life, right? And the impact we're making on the Philippines is cool. So I had that challenge for so many years. If someone's just thinking about or considering a VA, what would you suggest are the first steps for them to kind of take a microscope into their business and look at, could this be something I should pursue? What
Yeah,
would your
number
advice be?
one strategy I give everybody is go get a copy of Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time. Number
Okay.
one thing, just like real estate agents, right? The big book was the MREA, right? Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care what brokerage you were. That was kind of the blueprint, right?
Yep.
Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell will go through a lot of strategies and it'll be really eye-opening to why are you spending your time doing this? How are you going to scale doing what you're doing? And I bring this to my main point. My main point is they have a time audit exercise in there. And the
Okay.
time audit exercise will take, and I'm happy to share that with anybody on this call if they want to
Yeah.
ask you for it, like whatever it is, I'll send you the PDF of the time audit. But
Okay.
that's it, right? You don't know what you don't know. Most business owners just run throughout their day, just taking on whatever task hits them in the face, right? And so instead of taking on every task that hits you in the face, let's get organized. Let's identify what those tasks are that are hitting in your face. Jacqui, if you were to hire me and you were like, hey, I'm going to pay you 100 grand a year to work for my company, and I want you to sift through the emails, I want you to dust my desk every day, right? You would be like, why am I paying you 100 grand to do those things? Well, that's what we do as business owners. Like, we do all of these crazy things that are like, that's not really a good use of my time value, right? So doing that time audit is really a critical first step. What that then does allows us to have a conversation with you on the time audit to go, look, you're spending too much time on social media, which you need to, but we have somebody that can do that for you, right? What would it look like if I gave you back time on that and it grew your business? Look, you're spending way too much time going through emails, making calendar appointments. Like, what would it look like if I had an executive admin that worked for you, giving you that time back, right? So that's kind of the initial phases is you got to assess your business and identify where you're spending your time because we don't only just support real estate agents, right? We have roofers, we have plumbers, we have doctors, we have whatever. So everybody's business and what their actions look a little different. So I don't have like a blueprint of like, oh, you're this, right? It's like, no, I need
Right.
you to give me kind of how your business runs and what your day looks like on the day to day for like 2 weeks. Then I can really do a good consult with you as an audit and go, cool. My experience would suggest these are areas that you could use some help, and here's what it would look like.
Sure. And in addition to that, what I love that Sphere Rocket can provide you, which by the way, before I forget, if you want the buy back your time audit, go ahead in the comments and just type the word audit, and our VAs will get that to you. I won't, Mike won't, but our VAs will. We'll get that to you in a direct message. But with that being said, it's not only what you're currently doing now, but it's that visionary and that builder that has all of these things that they don't even know that they don't know that they could be doing to get more business. And what
Mm-hmm.
I love that Sphere Rocket provided me with within the past year or so that was newer to me because I was plugged in, plugged out for a while, and it was all of the different profiles that you guys have created for all industries, but specifically for our industry, real estate, of like transaction coordinator, social media manager. You guys have, I think, 25, 30 profiles for just real estate agents of what a VA can do for you. And once I
Mm-hmm.
started reading those, I'm like, well, crap, I'm not doing anything in my business. Right? I'm like, what is going on here? Right? And so, talk a little bit about that and how you and I can get those things in their hands and what
Mm-hmm.
we can do, what you guys have. Like, just what are
Yeah,
the top
absolutely.
profiles you think?
Yeah, I would suggest a couple of things, right? If you want to put in the comments like SOPs, right, for standard operating
Yeah.
procedures. If you want to type in a comment SOP, what Jacqui and I and our VAs can get you is a freebies download. What the freebies download is a URL that will give you. You click it, and then basically you can download like the top 50 tasks of various positions, right? So let's say we got 10 positions, we'll basically give you a link to you can download what are the top 50 tasks that somebody could do for you around an executive admin, around a social media
Right.
manager, around a video editor, all of those things. So that's number one. uh, Number two, what was your question? I do this all the time. I go off on a
Oh, no,
tangent and
that's
then I
okay.
forget
It
what the
was
original
literally
question
just
was.
that. Like, what are the top
Cool.
profiles you think
Cool.
realtors? Go
Oh,
ahead.
that's where I was going to go with, right? Like again, I'm
Yeah.
I'm a guy that grew up in KW, maps, coaching, all of that
Yep.
stuff. So my references are typically going to run down that path. So love me, hate me, that's okay. But my point is, like, with that, Gary was big into the 7 level, right? And so
Yep.
the organization. What is the first thing Gary will always tell you? The most important person in your position in life, in your business, is an executive admin. And we always want to poo-poo that. We always want to look over that. But I need more business. I need a lead generator. I need a buyer's agent. I need a whatever. No,
Right.
you need an executive admin. like I'm
Yes.
here to kind of throat punch you. You need an executive
Full
admin.
transparency, like, I'm apologizing to my social media manager because I hired him first, and
Right.
then I hired the admin. I really should have hired the admin first, then the social media manager, because
Yep.
the executive admin is overseeing that person, and
Mm-hmm.
they're hired second, and it causes this. I'm just going to be fully transparent. It just causes this unca- it's not uncategorized. It's just out of sequence feeling,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Just over the team. And so just kind of getting through that. They're
Yeah.
both doing great, but I just really, if I could go back and do it all over again, would have hired the executive admin first,
Mm-hmm.
then the social media. So I didn't listen to you guys, and you guys were right.
It's okay. Uh, so yeah, and what I look at from the executive admin world, right, is like how many of our systems as business owners are up here in the noodle, right? They're not documented. We just had to learn the hard way and screw it up enough times that we eventually figured out how to do it right. But we never systematized, we never documented anything. That's why an EA is there, because they're going to bring some duplication into your life. Like, okay, cool. Like I can take this on now because we got the training, we got the standard operating procedures, things business owners hate doing. They hate
Yeah.
documenting things, right? And I get it. Like I'm not judging anybody over that.
Yep.
But if you look at any successful business, and James Clear will say it, right? Your systems are what are going to make you successful. It ain't the number of sales you're going to do. Yes, that's important, but your systems are going to make you hit a ceiling. If you
Yeah.
have not good systems, you're going to hit a ceiling.
Yeah. You're only as successful as your systems are. Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it. And I think
Exactly.
he says it's like you rise to the level of your systems and fall to the, or vice versa. You rise to the,
Yeah.
anyways. James Clear has that quote. I need to do better of remembering it.
He has it very clear. We don't. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Exactly.
So there's one more thing as we go through this. If you have any questions, if you all could help us out, if you have any questions, and just type in the comments either on Facebook or YouTube any questions that you have. I'd actually like to see if they come through on
Hmm.
the Riverside FM. So if that's
Yeah.
you, ask us a question. If not, just type test in there so I can see if it comes through. That I would love you for that. So let me see
Yeah.
what happens with
Even
that.
if you don't have a question and you want to just say like, man, this guy looks goofy, whatever, like just
Whatever,
throw
just
it
say
in there
something. That's right,
so
that's
we can
right.
see it.
I love it, I love it. What I'm gonna post though in the chat right now is if you want a free, just 20-minute discovery call with me, about if a VA is, right for you, I'm gonna put that in here in the chat. It's just a Google form. It's just 3 questions, your name, your email, and if you want to have a discovery call with me, just to explore and dive into your business plan and see where maybe a VA can help you finish the second half of 2025 strong, going into 2026 with your visions and helping you with that execution, what that could look like. But if you are convinced that you've always wanted to do the VA thing, you've just never taken the step, and this is speaking to you and you want to actually do a 30-minute with Sphere Rocket and myself, I'm happy to join that call with you and do that discovery with them so that we can find out what package is best for you and what your next best steps are. So if you're interested in either of those, use that form there to fill out. And if for some reason that form didn't get to YouTube or Facebook, my VA, who's on right now, Aji, he's going to go ahead and post that as me so that you guys can see that link as well. So yeah, so if you want to fill that out, that would be awesome. That would be
Yeah, that's
awesome.
one thing I would tell people too, right? Is like, I think we get nervous about the US based way of hiring people. We psych ourselves out like, oh my gosh, I'm hiring somebody on at $50,000 a year. Holy cow, that's a lot to bite off. That's a lot to chew. Well,
Right.
one, the reality of it is you're not guaranteed to hire them for 12 months. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So I always coach people on you, even US based hires, look at it as a 1 month hire, right? It's like, okay, cool. You're not spending 50 grand on day one, right? You're
Right.
literally spending 3 grand, 4 grand, whatever it is, right? So cool. Don't so get out of that mindset. And then the second piece is like with a VA, like you're really doing it for probably 1/5 the cost, right,
Right.
of that total scenario. So when you look at what the cost difference is, I would trade that all day long. Like, 12 months at 1200, whatever it is, right? It's like, hey,
Yeah.
like that's not a big pill to swallow. A lot of us will go spend money on, let's just say, a Z company on
Right.
leads, right? That
Right.
are $1,000 a month, and we're like, what happened? Like maybe I got business, maybe I didn't. But we're as realtors, we're keen to spend on the lead. We're
Right.
not as keen to spend on really giving us time back and really building foundations such that when we scale, we don't feel like we're in overwhelm. That is the biggest thing we see with most business owners is stress, burnout. I really thought I wanted to build a business to where it is today, and I don't like it anymore. Well, that's on you because you didn't build really a sustainable foundational business. If I put my coaching hat on for a minute,
Right. Right.
right? But divorce, alcohol, right, drugs, the whole nine yard all spins out of a lot of times this misalignment
Sure.
of building a leverage system. It's a hey, I don't have time, only I can do it. What insert whatever the objections are. Well, cool, you created this albatross. So like kudos to you for being a fantastic salesperson. Like not
Sure.
everybody has that skill set.
Right.
However, it's also a detriment because you didn't build and scale a foundation of support and leverage.
Right, right. Absolutely. And so a lot of people are looking at that as like, well, how much is this going to cost me? And it's like, well, how much is it going to cost you if you don't? Right? When you talk about all of the side effects of not having leverage in your life. I mean, I was just talking to a coaching client yesterday and I said, what else is like a bottleneck just bothering you? Just this? She goes, I literally have 6 loads of laundry on my recliner in my bedroom. I'm like, okay, we need to get someone in the house once a week to do your laundry and fold it and put it away. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it's like all of those little things add up to the stress for our heart, for our mind, and we take it out on the ones we love or we take it out on addiction or whatever. And you're
Mhm.
right. It's like simple things like that, just talking about leverage. This whole VA thing is is just a solution for that, definitely in your business. And I know um, some of us use it in our personal life, right? We've got people that got cameras in their refrigerators, and their VA goes grocery shopping for them, right? Like we won't mention who that is, but like there's ways that you can leverage things, and people are probably like, "That's stupid," right? But I'm always a protector of my energy and my mind space.
Mhm.
And my mind space and energy is on coaching calls with clients. Like some of them are crying, some of them are, there's a lot of emotional energy that I use and I pour into my clients. I don't have that to pour into doing my contract to close. I don't have
Mhm.
that to pour in because by the time I'm done with that, I've got no time for my husband, my kids, or anybody else. So it's just taking one little piece at a time, but just deciding and flipping the switch in your mind of
Mhm.
that for me to grow beyond the point where I'm at today and get my life back or get some more ease. I call it peace. Getting more peace in my life is to kind of go in this direction of VAs. So, and I want that
Uh,
for everybody.
yeah.
So,
It's
yeah,
such a game changer with leverage, and it is, right? And again, I'll tell people too, like there are certain positions that I think you're better suited on a higher level business owner to hire in the US, right? You want a chief financial officer, you want a very high level senior executive person. I do think that's a better hire in the US. However, by and large, most of us, we absolutely could use the international cost of scale, right?
yeah,
And use those for those tasks, right? So
yeah.
if I had a director of sales on my real estate team and Jacqui would be so honored to take it, I would probably give it to a US based Jacqui, right? I don't
Hmm.
think a big scale team would make a lot of sense to have somebody
Sure.
overseas. So I think there's a good balance, but I would say by and large, most businesses, probably 80 to 90% of the
Yeah,
tasks we do could be
agree.
offshored.
Agree. And the one thing that I find that I still need here in all full transparency is when I'm holding an event, I need someone to go arrange the tables how I want them arranged. I want them to pick up the balloons. I want them to pick up the dessert. I want to make sure that they see the caterer there and verify that they're going to serve what I told them to serve. You know what I mean? Like there's some physical things that I just can't do with a VA. Full transparency. However,
100%.
he's right. 80 to 90% of what we can do to set that up so that when that person gets there is done, right? So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So, in closing, I would just invite anybody who wants to just explore virtual assistants with me or with me and Sphere Rocket. I will say this too that the definite there was something else I wanted to say about Sphere Rocket. Now I've lost it. Um, but it's really the affordability of it, like you said, is 1/5 of that. And with that being said, for them, it's a really great wage. And a lot of people have you know, question themselves of like, how could I only pay somebody $4, $5, $7 an hour to do something that someone here would charge $30 an hour to do, you know, and it's, um, how do we justify that in our mind? Mike, could you speak a little bit about just the culture of the Philippines, the economy,
Hmm.
the exchange rates, and
Yeah.
how that actually equates out? Um, and then the other point was, is they're actually my employee. So we'll touch on that too right before we close about how
Yeah.
other companies
Hmm.
will pay them whatever they pay them, and then they'll triple or quadruple that and charge you, and you have no idea how much your VA is making. So if you can talk
Yeah,
a
we're
little
just
bit
very
about,
transparent on our
yeah,
pricing. Most people will say if it's a traditional model, hey, it's 1,500, it's 2,000 a month, whatever it is. But you're just writing an invoice to them. Like they don't break it
right,
out into who gets paid
correct.
what, how. We break those out into two things. You pay us this for all of these services, which could be covered in an audit call, and then you pay your VA, which is $4 an hour, $5 an hour, $6 an hour. We're
Right.
very customized, right? We don't just go, here's a body that's sitting on our bench. We go out and we headhunt based on, and this is why you want to do your time audit. Your time audit then takes us into what is the position you need. Then we can take that and create a task list so we can go out and do a job description, right? And we can go customize a solution for you. It's not
Mhm.
just, hey, this is my executive admin. I don't need her anymore. I'm going to plug her into you as an EA. Jacqui, my culture is probably different than your culture and your business, right? I'm not good, bad, or indifferent. They're just different cultures. I want to make sure you have the ability to interview candidates that fit your culture. Cool.
Mhm.
So that's one thing. But I would say the biggest thing for us is back to your question again.
Oh, yeah, just you know, that they're getting paid a fair wage and
Yeah, I got you. The
you get
Philippines
paid correctly.
culture. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, the gray is starting to affect my brain.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
So yeah, over there, I would say it's very much like it's an economy thing, right? When we were back in the 70s, their economy is just lagging behind ours, right? So what I mean by that is in the 1970s, right? Like $4 an hour, 350, whatever it was minimum wage.
Mhm.
Nobody judged that then because the cost of bread was 50 cents a loaf, not $4.50 a loaf, right? So it's just an economy of scale. It's not that we're paying them low wages. In fact, most of the wages over there, if you do anything on ChatGPT, have that verify the information. It's less than $1 an hour, right? Is what the average wage is over there. So when we pay 4, 5, and $6 an hour, that is
Right.
4 times the level of that. The other cultural thing is you got to think about it. They work in what's called a BPO world over there, meaning they support commercial accounts. A lot of
Okay.
these people live outside the city. So they have to usually take public transportation, which public
Mhm.
transportation in the Philippines is drastically different with their creature comforts of what we have in the
Right.
US compared to what they have. 2 hours in, an 8 to 10 hour day, 2 hours back, 5 days a week. They don't get family time. So this is a huge cultural value to them to become a virtual assistant. They work our hours. Yes, they have to work the night shift, but guess what? That's what they do in the BPO world too, because they're supporting US based businesses with US
Right.
based clients. So that doesn't change. They're used to that. What is saving them is 4 hours of commute time, 5 days a week, or they end up renting an apartment in the city so they don't have to do the commute times, but now that cuts into their income. So this is just a
Yeah.
huge cultural thing. They
And
absolutely
into their
love it.
family time too. I mean, they're 5 days a week away from their kids and their family to come back on the weekend. I mean, that's just
100%.
so it's just it all around is such a great experience that we've had with VAs, and just knowing that you're making that impact and giving them a better job than them working for corporate, really.
And they respond in kind to their loyalty, to their dedication to you, because they know
Right.
that they are, you're doing, not really doing them a favor is probably not the right word, but this is
Not
a
the right word.
benefit to them, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it's good.
It's a benefit to them, right? And they're like, this is amazing. I don't want to lose this potential benefit and have to go back to the BPO world.
With that being said, how many applicants a month from the Philippines do y'all have?
Yeah, that's good, man. Usually we get about 100 applicants per position that per client that comes in on a position. Now it's 100, but we do a three-tier process, right? We do the initial resume review as tier one. We do a preliminary interview as tier two. We do a tech check as tier three. So what we're doing is kind of the philosophy of recruit select or whatever it was in the KW days, right?
Yeah.
We were like,
Right.
hey, get the resumes, meet the criteria, chop some, chop some, chop some, and then here's your 2 to 5 candidates at the end of the day. that ultimately are what you're right, what are the top of the top 100 that we had. And again, this is why we want to do that for you, because if you do it yourself, you're going to get 100 resumes, but how many of them are bots? How many of them are spammers, right? And
Exactly.
we
I
cut
don't
through
want
all
to read
that
them all,
noise.
and I
Yeah,
don't want to read
exactly.
them all. And I'm not smart enough to choose my own people half the time. So, right? Because I want to
Absolutely.
like them and hang out with them, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, we're going to cut this off. We are at 30 minutes. Mike, thank you so much for your time today. I'm going to send you samples of what this Riverside FM cuts into a short for you. We'll see what it
Love
looks
it.
like. And
Awesome.
then we'll go
Happy to
from
share
there.
it on my
Thanks, everyone.
socials and everything. All right.
I know. I love it. Thanks.